Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to farm wooden mimics on the surface, or at least how to set up a farm for wooden mimics to farm them on the surface. There is a slime rain going on. Hold on a second. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm going to show you all today how to set up a wooden mimic farm for the surface, and this farm is very easy to set up. It'll take like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Just to show you how this farm works, essentially I dug out a giant trench that was very wide. I don't know how wide it is exactly, maybe like 200 blocks or so, and I've stopped spawns on both sides of this little trench by using lava. So the only way that enemies will spawn is directly below me on this platform that's slightly off screen, and also this platform is in front of naturally placed dirt walls, because wooden mimics will only spawn on the surface in front of naturally placed dirt walls. So once I have that set up as well, I just go ahead and I stand away from the enemies that are spawning and just freely hit them and kill the mimics. Usually there's mimics and green slimes that spawn if you do this during the daytime and you use like stone blocks or dirt blocks or anything like that. And yeah, that's basically the gist of this farm. It's very simple to set up. Take you like maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and go through every step so you guys can see exactly how it's done. Okay, now I'm ready to go ahead and try to set the farm up. Now for the mimic surface farm to work, you as stated by the wiki, mimics spawn on the surface behind natural walls. In my experience, it's usually natural dirt walls like what's behind me at the moment, which gets them to spawn, from what I've noticed, at least from what I've experienced. And when I say natural walls, like walls that are there when you that are there upon world generation. So you see I just dig down and these walls are already here. If you put your own dirt walls, then that will stop enemy spawns altogether. So it has to be naturally placed dirt walls that's already there. So what I like to do this in a forest biome because you can find natural dirt walls there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a trench along this whole area and just flatten it out and make sure that everything is one elevation, because I will have to use lava to stop the spawns of enemies, like how enemies are spawning right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just make a giant trench and make sure that I have a lot of natural dirt walls that are ingrained with the trench, because that's where I'm going to place down the spawn surface for the mimics to spawn. It's going to be behind natural dirt walls. Okay, so after about like 2 minutes, I'm left with something like this, kind of similar to the previous world that I was in, but as you can see, just a giant hollowed out trench. And you want to be somewhere in the middle. So this is like roughly the middle. You just want to make sure that you're far enough away from the sides so that enemies don't spawn from the sides while you're in the middle. And judging from what I can see, it looks pretty fine on my end. I can't even see the sides that well on the map from the middle where I'm standing. So the next step would be to set up the spawn area that you're gonna have the mimic spawn from, and other enemies if you decide to farm other enemies here as well. For the spawn surface, I usually go with like 20 blocks. You can go from anywhere from like 15 to like whatever blocks you want, 30, whatever. You can make the spawn surface as wide as you want. I normally go with 20 blocks though, because I don't want the spawn surface to be that wide. So for this farm that I'm going to set up, the spawn surface will be 20 blocks wide. Alright, so I laid down the 20 blocks. Now what I like to do is to put another set of 20 blocks on top of those that I just put, because I'm actually gonna let me kill these slimes first. The second row of blocks that I put is going to be the actual spawn surface, and I'm going to replace this with lava. But first I like to just secure the area where I'm going to put the spawn surface for the enemies. So this is the area that it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and start closing up the sides so that the loot from the enemies don't get spread out into the lava. And then what I'm going to do after I'm done with this is put lava outside so that enemies will stop spawning, so that I'll start manipulating the spawns and forcing them to only spawn right here. So let's go ahead and do that right now actually. You can use like whatever you can do to get lava, like lava bucket, lava bombs, etc. So that's one side complete. And then here is the other side. And after I stop the spawns from happening on the outside, so you know, when I stand here, no more spawns will occur from the other areas. As you can see, still only one enemy nearby, and it's this one slime that's in front of me. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of the first layer of bricks and put lava underneath those as well. And the reason I'm doing this is because I will actuate these blocks, and whenever I have to safely go and pick the loot up, I'll just actuate them so that enemies will stop spawning as I go down. So you can do that as well. Alright, so after you made the spawn area, you've stopped spawns by adding lava to the outsides. The next step will be to set up the area where you're going to stand, and you'll be attacking the enemies from that platform. So what I like to do, I like to get about 40 blocks, or in this case 40 ropes. We'll go 40 ropes high away from the spawn surface, and then oops, at the top I'll just put a platform where I'm going to stand. And yeah, this should be the perfect height for enemies to start spawning below. I'm gonna give it a second and see if anyone spawns just to be on the safe side, but I'm pretty sure they'll start spawning soon. Oh, there we go. And it's actually a mimic that spawned, which is perfect. So mimic spawn right in this area. 40 blocks is enough. You can probably go a little bit higher, but I normally go with 40 blocks. It's like the minimum to start getting enemies to spawn below. So after you get that set up, I like to go ahead and close off the side. So I normally just close off the farm just to keep everything contained. So if you wanted to go from here and just use the farm as is, after you close it up, you can go ahead and do so if you wanted to. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple more optimizations to it though. So of course you're gonna need things like water candles, battle potions for increased spawn rates, but there are a couple of other optimizations you could do for this farm to kind of like maximize the spawn rates. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to set up an artificial jungle biome on top of the farm. In case you don't know, jungle biomes have increased spawn rates for enemies. So we're just gonna go ahead and set up some mud blocks and then put some jungle grass seeds and have it spread and create an artificial jungle biome. Okay, so this is kind of what I have. You need at least, I believe, 140 mud blocks in order to create a artificial biome after you spread the jungle grass seeds. Normally in like an actual playthrough, I would just put like 1 or 2 seeds here, and then I can just go to sleep and it'll spread in no time and create the artificial jungle biome. Alright, so after a little while, the jungle grass seeds have spread completely, and I'm now standing in a jungle biome, so the jungle biome will yield increased spawn rates. So at this point, I can go ahead and get whatever I need to use to actuate the blocks. So let me go ahead and make sure that everything is actuated. Okay, perfect. So the blocks are actuated now, so I can just go ahead and just get a switch, put the switch over there or wherever you feel like putting the switch, and just wire it up like so. And yeah, perfect. So it's actuated now. So whenever I go down here to get the loot, nothing will spawn on top. Something else I like to do, you can get bubble blocks from the party girl if you have her once you get into hard mode. So I like to use bubble blocks and put them on top. Okay, perfect. So I have jungle grass on top that's been actuated, and also I've put lava on the roof, so now no enemies will spawn whenever I go down to get loot. Okay, so with the jungle grass, that basically takes care of the spawn rates. So now we have max spawns if I also take a battle potion. A couple other things I want to do to optimize. The first thing I want to do actually is to fix the spawn surface down here so that I don't get attacked by enemies whenever I come down here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use a different color wire and actuate the spawn surface. And I will put a lever on top of the wall because I like using levers for, well, I like putting levers on the wall if it's something important like stopping the spawn point. So I'll do this. I don't think it matters which side I put it on. And yeah, every time I want to go down here now, I can just disable that, and that'll make it so that no enemies will spawn because that disables the block, and it'll just be lava and enemies will not spawn on top of lava. Okay, so the reason for the red wire on the left side was that I could hook up a timer, a quarter-second timer I believe this is, to a dart trap at the bottom. And the reason for the dart trap is because mimics, they will despawn if you don't attack them fast enough to aggro them. So the dart trap will ensure that whenever a mimic does spawn, it's always aggroed onto us, so that way it doesn't despawn if I, for some reason, don't kill them fast enough. So with that out the way, the farm is basically ready to be used. All you gotta do at this point is just put down your little buildings or whatever, like your banners, your what's that thing called? Ammo boxes in this case, since I'm using a ranged weapon, or whatever other buildings you have. You know, your piggy bank, your safe, etc. And yeah, you're basically ready to go with the farm now. You'll get frequent mimics. At least I usually get mimics, like one mimic every 20 to like 40 seconds or so, sometimes multiple mimics. So this is a very good way to get mimic drops early on when you start hard mode, as well as you'll be able to get a bunch of money since mimics do drop a lot of money, and you can also just use things like the lucky coin, or if you're doing melee you could use the gold flask, etc. to get even more money from the mimics, which is what I normally do on my hard mode on my hardcore characters to get a lot of money. I just do a mimic farm. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and like automate this by using, like, I don't know, boulder traps if you want to. Stick some traps on top, and you know, do that as well if you want to. Add some traps. Up to you. I don't normally use traps, but you can make this automated and put like a bunch of traps to kill the mimics a little bit faster if you want to. But yeah, that's basically it. This is sums up the trap. If you want to just have like a quick summary, the most important thing about this type of farm is the natural dirt black backgrounds, and making sure that your spawn surface is within the natural dirt backgrounds, and then you just add the things to increase the spawn rates, such as the jungle biome, you know, builder battle potion, water candle. And that's basically it. You don't have to make it as optimized as this. The main thing is, you know, the spawn surface within the wall, the natural wall backgrounds, and everything else to increase spawn rates. And that's basically it. Alright, so just a couple more things to note with regards to like other biomes. I've tried this myself, and I know according to the wiki, the wooden mimics will spawn behind natural walls, but it's kind of vague. It doesn't really state, is it only dirt walls? Can they spawn behind mud walls or snow walls? Just from like personal experience, I tried a snow biome. I sat here for a while with like increased spawn rates. Since this is a journey mode, I set the spawn rates to ×10, and I tried different surfaces and different varying degrees of background walls, natural snow walls here, and I could not get any mimics to spawn in the snow biome. I don't know if I did something wrong, but if you all are able to replicate this and you can get the wooden mimics to spawn behind natural snow walls in the snow biome, let me know in the comments section below. As for the jungle, I always find the jungle kind of awkward to try and set up large-scale like projects like a farm, because of like how much water there is. There's a bunch of like caves where like enemies can go spawn inside of, and I just found the jungle kind of awkward to set this up. So I didn't exactly test this behind the mud walls, at least the naturally placed mud walls. But if one of you all who watch this video decides to set up a mimic farm, or at least attempt to set a mimic farm up in the jungle, let me know if you manage to get them to spawn behind the naturally placed mud walls at least. Something cool about this farm, since it incorporates natural dirt walls, dirt backgrounds, if the area that you set it up is low enough in elevation that it's close to the underground layer of your world, you can also have a bunch of gnomes spawn in as well, and you can set it up in pre-hard mode, and when you get into hard mode, you'll immediately have a way to farm mimics right away. So it's very good if you need the early mimic items, or also just a bunch of money, since mimics do drop a lot of coins upon death. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you learned anything new, or if you enjoyed it, if you learned how to farm surface mimics for the first time, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts about the video, and stay tuned for more videos and tons of hardcore master mode class restricted runs, streams actually, because I do stream at least 3 days a week. So stay tuned for streams on this YouTube channel, and also join the Discord if you want to join the Discord and join our little community. We're all pretty nice there. Feel free, links in the description. And thank you guys all for watching. I do appreciate it, and see you next time.